Big news from Old Trafford. Sancho reunion agreed. Rashford speaks out. Baleba targeted. And Man U's Carabao Cup draw revealed. Let's get into it. Asterisk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for daily Manchester United updates. Asterisk. Jadon. Sancho can secure reunion as £5 million loan deal agreed. Manchester United outcast. Jadon Sancho could have a fresh route out on Old Trafford, whilst Rasmus Højlund is closing in on a loan move back to Italy with AC Milan. Manchester United's main summer target now is Carlos Baleba after the signing of Benjamin Sesko completed. The reshape of their frontline for Slovenian, joining fellow new signings Brian Mumo and Matheus Cunha. Ruben. Amorim is keen to bolster his midfield ranks, and the Brighton star has emerged as their leading candidate for that role. His price tag could prohibit any deal, but those in Manchester believe Baleba was continued to impress, wants to join them. Gianluigi Donnarumma's availability is also going to alert those at Old Trafford, but rivals Manchester City to have acted to land the PSG goalkeeper, who is poised to leave the European champions. United's final weeks of the window could center around getting a number of their big names off their books, with Alejandro Garnacho and Antony still looking for new homes. Here's the latest from the red side of Manchester. Sancho's Turkey exit Rubes are hoping to complete a deal to sign United outcast Jadon Sancho after several of his other exit routes appear to have closed. Sancho spent last season on loan with Chelsea, but they turned down the opportunity to sign him permanently. And despite agreeing terms with Fenerbahce and Juventus, those deals collapsed at the final hurdle. But Besiktas president Serdal Adali has come out and made his plans known after huge fan demand for his signature, a move that would also see Sancho reunite with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the man who bought him to Manchester. Just as much as the community wants him, I want him too, he told Turkey Today. What matters is not only our desire, but also if the player wants to come to Turkey. We have a budget, and we will do our best to bring him here. Players like Jadon Sancho usually prefer clubs playing in the Champions League. Whether it happens today or not, it is hard to say. If it is possible, we will get him. Besiktas fans can rest assured. Højlund's loan move. Rasmus Højlund is edging closer to a loan move to AC Milan, with his days at Manchester seemingly over despite his previous desire to stay and fight for his place. Reports claim that a loan deal worth £5.2 million, with a buy option of £38.8 million, has been discussed with the Italian side. The Milan outfit would also cover the entirety of Højlund's wages, making the deal even more appealing to United as they undergo a complete change in the final third. The 22-year-old Dane has been cast aside by Ruben Amorim towards the end of preseason, and the arrival of new striker Benjamin Sesko has pushed him even further down the pecking order. It was in Italy with Atalanta that Højlund first made his name. Rashford lays down the law. Barcelona loanee hasn't been shy in speaking his mind about his parent club and claims the constant changing of managers and strategies has been a major problem, and urged them to stick by Amorim. A host of managers have been allowed to sign their own players to suit their own systems, and Rashford insists that has not been beneficial. He told the Rest is Football podcast, "To start a transition, you have to make a plan and stick to it. This is where I speak about being realistic about what your situation is. We've had that many different managers, ideas, and strategies in order to win that you end up in no man's land." Rashford claims Manchester United are stuck in no man's land. Rashford has offered a withering assessment of Manchester United's decline, claiming a lack of identity since Sir Alex Ferguson retired has marooned the club in no man's land. The on-loan Barcelona striker insists the club's predicament hurts him as a United player and fan, and laid the blame firmly at Old Trafford's door. Too many managerial changes and different strategies had undermined the playing principles established under Ferguson, said Rashford, and prevented any meaningful transition. He believes United will not be serious contenders for the Premier League again unless they keep faith with a clear plan. United endured their worst top-flight campaign since being relegated in 1973-74 when finishing 15th last season. Ruben Amorim, who sidelined Rashford before his loans to Aston Villa and Barcelona, is United's sixth permanent manager since Ferguson stepped down in 2013. The last time the club won the title, Rashford came through United's academy while Ferguson was in charge. "Show me a successful team that just adapts," Rashford told the Rest is Football podcast with Gary Lineker and Micah Richards. When Fergie was in charge, not only the principles for the first team, the whole academy set up so you could pick players from 15 years and over. That's a full generation. And they'd all understand the principles of playing the Man United way, right? You see it with any team that's been successful over a period of time. They have principles that any coach that comes in, any player that comes in has to align to these principles or be able to add to these principles. Whereas at times, one feel like United have just been, we're hungry to win, so we'll always try to adapt and to sign players that fit this system. But it's reactionary. If your direction's always changing, you can't expect to be able to win the league. Yeah, you might win some cup tournaments, but it's because you do have a good coach, and you do have good players, and you have match winners in your team. You're not there by accident. This is what some people forget. So yeah, we've been way below where we deem United to be. But then, if you take a step back, which I've been able to do, especially over the last 6 months, what do you expect? People say we've been in a transition for years. To be in a transition, you have to start the transition. So it's like the actual transition's not started yet. No United manager in the post-Ferguson era has been given 3 years. Rashford said the club could learn from their fierce rivals Liverpool, who ended a 30-year wait for a top-flight title under Jurgen Klopp in 2020. Klopp joined in October 2015 and secured his first trophy in 2019. When Liverpool went through this, they got Klopp. They stuck with him, Rashford said. They didn't win in the beginning. People only remember his final few years when he was competing with Manchester City and winning the biggest trophies. He certainly didn't win for 3 years. To start a transition, you have to make a plan and stick to it. So this is the thing that I feel, it's not easy. But this is where I speak about being realistic with what your situation is. I feel like we've had that many different managers and different ideas and different strategies in order to win. You end up in the middle of you, end up in no man's land. Ruben Amorim, pushing for Man United to sign Carlos Baleba this summer. Brighton are understood to want £120 million for the midfielder *. Manchester United are actively trying to do a deal for Carlos Baleba in this window, as Ruben Amorim pushes for a midfielder to accelerate his rebuild. Brighton are understood to want around £120 million for the 21-year-old, with owner Tony Bloom generally unmoving as regards such prices. The United hierarchy are currently figuring out how to construct a payment package, with one consideration to offer an initial £80 million, with the rest made up of add-ons. There would be a will to send a player such as jadon Sancho the other way. But it is not seen as likely that Brighton go for that, while United anticipate outgoings in the remainder of the window. Their available budget under PSR has been aided so far by the construction of their 3 big deals so far: Matthias Cunha, Bryan Mbeumo, Benjamin Sesko, and how much has been paid in first installments. Amorim is insistent on a midfielder to fit the team together. and Baleba has been identified as best fitting the profile they want. A further attraction is that, while he offers exactly what United need right now, he also has huge potential. If the club cannot get him this summer, they will almost certainly go again next year. The same could be true for United's preferred alternative, Adam Wharton. The club may try for the Crystal Palace defensive midfielder if they cannot get Baleba, but also hold a long-term interest to pair the two together. It is nevertheless anticipated that Wharton could cost even more this summer, with Palace chairman Steve Parish unwilling to do business given that they could yet lose Mark Gahey and Eberechi. United have also looked at Sporting's Morten Humeland, although there are questions over whether he quite has the physicality for the position they want. Atalanta's Ederson is also admired, albeit in a slightly different role. Baleba himself is highly keen on the move. Man Ut Steve discover their first Carabao Cup second-round opponents for 11 years. Manchester United last played in the second round of the Carabao Cup in 2014. But they are back at the earliest possible stage of the competition, that Premier League. Sides can play an ***. Manchester United will face Grimsby Town in the Carabao Cup later this month as they enter the competition at this early stage for the first time in 11 years. Ruben Amorim's side will travel to the league to side on the week commencing August 25th, with United playing their first second-round match since 2014 when Louis van Gaal's Red Devils were humbled 4-0 by League One's MK Dons. United are one of 11 Premier League sides playing at this early stage of the competition after failing to qualify for European football for the first time since 2014, when Van Gaal replaced David Moyes in the Old Trafford dugout. The club, who are six-time winners of the competition, most recently in 2023 finished 15th in the Premier League last season and lost the Europa League final to Tottenham Hotspur in Bilbao. The rest of the draw has produced two All-Premier League ties in the southern section, with Wolves hosting West Ham and Bournemouth taking on Brentford. Elsewhere, Fulham will welcome Bristol City to Craven Cottage and Brighton and Hove Albion will go to Oxford United. Meanwhile, in the northern section, Everton will welcome Mansfield to their new Hill Dickinson Stadium. Burnley will host Derby, and in Wrexham will go to Championship rivals Preston North End.